Okay, let's go to law number 3. It's called the law of the process, and that's huge in business because while motivation can come in a moment, growth takes a long time. The good news, though, is that with commitment to a process, results will happen. So here are 5 phases of leadership growth. The first one is we don't know what we don't know. So often, people in that first phase are ones that just start business, and it's kind of like those bumper cars. You're just running into walls all the time. But after a while, you learn how to negotiate those walls. It reminds me that for Christmas, I got my wife a Roomba vacuum. And with that, that vacuum literally learns how to vacuum around your house. So the Roomba vacuum doesn't know what it doesn't know until it goes out there and starts literally bumping against walls, chairs, and doing all kinds of stuff that are just amazing, but it figures it out. So the first phase of leadership growth is you don't know what you don't know. The second one is knowing that you need to know. And that's where you're at the point of, this is what I need to do. I'm just not sure how I'm going to do it. And what you do with that is you find people who are better than you. I always say to my coaching clients, you got to model the masters. So what does that mean? That you got to find people who are better than you, find out how they do it, and take their best practices and make it work for you. Now, number 3 is knowing that you don't know. That's where humility begins to come into our lives. And we figure out that, there are things that I really don't know. And we begin to stamp off a little bit of the gas pedal and begin to look around our environment and figure out how we can be more effective. Often that comes with age and maturity. That's exactly why those of you who are young, don't discount older, wiser people, because they've been on this earth a long time and they can help you negotiate around that. My son and I own a very fast-growing company in Southern California. Now, we're located in 5 states. About 2 years ago, my son came to me and go, "Dad, I need help running this thing." Now, David, who was in the room next to me, had heard me coaching clients for years. And what he found out is if we take what Dad applies to our company, we'll be able to grow magnificently. Now, what he needed to do was humble himself. Now, 26 or 27, that's not an easy thing to know that you don't know things. And to bring your dad in, who's 37, 38 years older, and really become co-owner with him. And that's exactly what we did. And we applied these things. We went through number 1, which David did, not knowing what you don't know. And he went through number 2, knowing that you need to know. Where they got, I think my dad probably knows what he's doing here. And number 3, knowing what you don't know. And together we figured that out in this industry. And then we started to fly into level number 4, knowing and growing, and it starts showing. And what is amazing about that, and we'll talk about this later, is the law of the big mo. And once that train gets going, it's really hard to stop it. We have grown a company from a little under $500,000 revenue 18 months ago to over $2.5 million in the middle of a pandemic. And that's because of going through these first phases. So the first one is not knowing what you don't know. Eventually you got to figure that out, and you do that by being a Roomba vacuum, just bouncing yourself off the walls. Number 2, knowing that you need to know. That's where there's a little humility comes in and go, there's probably a bigger picture here. I need to figure it out. Number 3 is knowing what you don't know. All of a sudden now, because you're growing and maturing and you're putting the right people around you, you've got a better chance of success. And then that starts into number 4, knowing and growing, and it starts showing. And that's when you get what we call later on the law of the big mo, and it just starts rolling down the track. And the number 5 is simply growing because of what you're knowing. And that is once you get to a level where it's like a beautiful cake, when you've mixed all of the ingredients together, it smells really good. If you put all the ingredients just in themselves, in and of themselves, and put them in a pan, they wouldn't do anything. But you mix them all together, and then all of a sudden you've got this beautiful smell. That's exactly what happens when you get to that level 5, is all of a sudden, because of what you're knowing, now you're going.